A lot of talk at the minute about narrow margins in sport because, of course, England's men have won the Cricket World Cup for the first time. You may have seen it's all over the news. Thanks to count back on the boundaries scored in the match because it was level. They have a draw in cricket. And it flew my mind back to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup final. Josh Dugan. If only he'd missed Callum Watkins. I mean, granted, we probably would have lost in Golden Point, but still, could we not celebrating in Trafalgar Square looking like Burke's on the telly? But no, it wasn't to be. Bloody Aussies. Welcome to the Forty20 Monday morning wrap-up, looking back at the weekend in Rugby League. We're actually starting League One and work our way backwards into Super League this week. 5 games on Sunday. Coventry 20, Hunslet 48. The first ever match of Rugby League professionally played in rugby, where the sport began. Well, they say that, don't they? But we all know William Webb Ellis was a myth. Doncaster 12, Whitehaven 22. Keighley 50, West Wales 18. Oldham 46, Crusaders 30. So the Crusaders' winning run comes to an end. Workington 32, London Scholars 22. Top of the table, it is Whitehaven. 3 points clear, 3 wins in a row now for them. Oldham just behind on 20. Newcastle on 19, Hunslet on 18. Newcastle in great form, by the way. Doncaster on 16. London Scholars on 15. 4 defeats in a row now for the Scholars. Working just behind them on 14. Crusaders on 12. Coventry on 8. Keighley on 3. And West Wales are still pointless. Next week, West Wales host Coventry. Newcastle London Scholars could be a tasty one. It's Crusaders, Doncaster, Workington, Keighley, and Hunslet versus Whitehaven. I think that's next weekend anyway. In the Championship, 2 ties on Sunday. Barrow 8, Leigh 24, that wasn't. Batley 14, York 14, Bradford 34, Swinton 34. Swinton leading 22-18 at half-time in that one. Halifax put Widnes to the sword, 40 points to 10, 22-0 in the second half. Toronto edged out Featherstone 22-18. It was Rochdale 0, Toulouse 68, and Sheffield 28, Dewsbury 22. Toronto top of the table, 11 points clear. Just that one defeat for them so far this season. York second, thanks to that draw. They're 1 point clear of Toulouse. Leigh on 28 as well. Featherstone on 26 make up the top 5. Bradford just outside on 25. Sheffield on 24. And a gap to Halifax on 18. Swinton on 15, who've certainly had a great run of form in the last few weeks. Batley on 13, ending their run of defeats with that draw. Widnes on 12, Dewsbury on 11, Barrow on 9, and Rochdale on 2. And you wonder now about Widnes. Could they get dragged back into that relegation fight with their indifferent form at the minute? Next weekend in the Championship, Toulouse host Sheffield. It's Dewsbury, Halifax, Fev Rochdale, Leigh Batley, Swinton Barrow, Widnes Toronto, and York Bradford. Excitement. Super League kicks off on Thursday at the KCOM Stadium. Hull were 34-0 up at half-time against London. Everyone turned off to watch the snooker or whatever else was on the other side. And then London won the second half, 22-1. I don't know. So a good result for Hull in the end, and not the performance they wanted. On Friday, everyone else played. Warrington lost to Salford 22-12. A few lots of abuse on Twitter. Castleford got bragging rights in the derby. They beat Wakefield 36-16. Wakefield 10-8 up at half-time. And Castleford blew them away in the second half. Let's hear from the coaching teams of both. Darryl Powell, you know him, he's the head honcho at the El Tigers. That doesn't work. And Wakefield's assistant coach is Lee Gilmore.
You know, it's a tough game. There's a bit of to and froing in there. A ridiculous kicking game from Danny Brough, which was very difficult to deal with. But I thought our spirit and resolve and toughness, that we were great today. I was really pleased. And I think, you know, we're talking about 2 weeks ago against London, very similar. Last week, not so similar, not so good, and then this week, very good. So we're talking about just the consistency of what we deliver, and that was an absolute must-win for us today. That was a win at all costs for us today. We had to win, so, and I thought that the players showed that attitude that we had to win. So yeah, it was important, and I think it took us a while to break Wakefield, but when we did, you could see that we did, you know, and I think that toughness that we showed will, if we can be consistent with us, will take us a long way.
First half were pretty pleasing. Completed really high, defended well. I thought we were a little bit unlucky to go in at half time behind. I thought that try, in the last 5 minutes of the first half hurt us a little bit. And I just thought that we started a little bit sluggish defensively in the second half. And having had more ball than they did and completing better, I thought that was a little bit of a disappointment. And then we just fell away at the end. Got caught down the short side on a couple of occasions today, 2 or 3 times, which give them field position and will give us an inside shoulder up twice in the first half. And just when you're struggling a little bit there, just try as you can't concede. You just got to make teams play around you, make them play around you. And I just thought we needed to be a little bit sharper with the ball inside Castleford's 10 and 20. I thought they executed really well today when they got their opportunities and when they got camped inside our 10. They were sharp with the ball and they turned them into points. We had some similar field position, but we just couldn't put it on the scoreboard.
If you look at the tries we conceded, on the back of kick-offs and spiral bombs that you would not want to be under. I thought Toyo, he got put under an immense amount of pressure, and I thought he came out of it pretty well. He made a couple of errors there, but we wouldn't under those kicks. I think the accuracy and the rotation on the ball, the movement on it was so difficult to deal with. So yeah, you're scoring a try and you're getting a kick-off where you pretty much, I don't know what the stats are, but it'd be something like 98%. I reckon it was 50-50 there today. You just didn't know whether you were getting the ball back or not. But I thought throughout all that, I thought he was great, Toyo Wigodo, to get through that. He made too many errors, but for him, character-wise, as a young player, hasn't played too much Super League rugby, I thought was fantastic. And as a team, I just thought defensively we were excellent. Took us a while to get our attacking shape sorted, and we didn't kick the ball enough in the first half in attacking positions. But then straight after half time, we get a repeat set and score, and that sort of set the tone for us with a little bit more control. And on our try line, I thought our defence was outstanding.
In a game not on television, St Helens beat Wigan 32-10 to edge ever closer to the league leaders' shield, retaining the shield indeed. I wonder if they'll celebrate more this year. Now let's hear it from the Saints boss, for the time being at least. I'm only joking, Saints fans. It's Justin Holbrook.
Been talking a lot about how many hard games we've played. I know every game's hard, but to play sort of second, third and fourth 3 weeks in a row, and then on the top of it being our toughest rivals in Wigan, it's just a huge credit to the playing group, the way they keep turning up, and it's a massive effort tonight. A great win.
When did you find out that James Roby wouldn't be playing?
Only yesterday. Yeah, he trained with us this week, and then he came in yesterday. He still wanted to play, as I expected, but it was just a smarter decision to leave him out. So the reason we got it operated on is to try and get them play pain-free, and he would have played the night, he would have been fine, but he would have been in discomfort, so took the better option in not taking that risk.
James Bentley as well had a superb game, didn't he, at hooker? He certainly filled that gap.
Yeah, he's playing great. Ben Toss, every running opportunity he's got, he's competing so hard, and it's great to have him in the side.
Defensively tonight, Justin, tremendous.
Yeah, definitely. I think watching the last sort of 4 or 5 games we're going to play, how dangerous they've been with the ball, and their threats are everywhere, and to do as good a job as we've done tonight, and to only concede 1 try and all that being an opportunistic try, we just, once again, just the players, how hard they're working, it's just great to watch, and defensively, superb.
But Morgan knows chest everything, did he?
Yeah, that's right. He's a fantastic player, Morgan, and he just works as hard as anyone. And look, Don Payru was enormous as well, so defending really well.
There's a semi-final a couple of weeks away as well, Justin. Have you sensed anything from within the group that's sort of been difficult to pull that to the back of your minds, or has everyone just been focused on the job ahead?
No, I think the fact, Aaron, that we've played, I thought Leeds at home here was a really tough game, and then to go to Warrington, and then we had to go to Hull, and then we knew we were playing Wigan. It's obviously an easy distraction on staying focused with all those tough games in a row. So more sort of excited about the semi-final probably 7 or 8 weeks ago when we won the quarter-final. You want to play it, and then you got to realise that you don't get the chance for a long time. So no, the boys know how hard it is every week. So we've been keeping the mind on the job every week.
Was there anything up with Coots, or was that just a bit of a rest at the end?
Yeah, no, he's got a little twinge in his knee, so just thought we'd no point leaving him out there, so just got him off precautionary.
Justin, you're so far clear at the top. How hard is it to stay focused on the rest of the season and ensure that you don't dip for the playoffs?
Yeah, it's easy for us. I think the coaching staff and the players, we're loving everything about it. We love coming to training. We love playing the game. So, obviously it helps when you win it, and when you're in a good side, that's what you want to look forward to, and that's what we want to continue to do. We just want to look forward to whoever we're playing next and get out and do the best job we can, and we're doing that, and it's great.
Huddersfield fought back bravely in the second half, but lost to the Catalan Dragons 32-28. And Leeds versus Hull KR. Well, where do we start on this one? Why do you let a player out on loan play for the other team? Matt Parcell with the opening try. Hull KR coming out 32-16 winners. So last week Leeds won at Cass and everything's rosy again. Now they're back in the bin. Let's hear from both coaches, Richard Agar in a moment. But first, the victorious Hull-Kinster Rovers coach, Tony Smith.
Good response, and we found that energy again. And I thought we found it early in the game. I thought a good start was important for us. Leeds have been playing well, and they've been out enthusing teams lately, and we needed to get our enthusiasm and energy levels going in the right direction early. We didn't want them to come and dominate us after we hadn't been so hot last week, so it was important for us, and I liked the way we played early. It wasn't until we conceded about 5 or 6 penalties straight that gave them a bit of a foothold in the game, and would have liked to have handled that period of the game better, but I like the way we played with the ball as well.
It takes a fair bit of courage to play like that, under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, but I don't know what the completion rates are, and I'm not interested. We played some good footy, good rugby. I think I'd rather do that and see what happens. Throw some at the opposition and make a few mistakes here and there. I didn't mind that we made some mistakes. We had put them under pressure, and that's how we were able to score some points. It's when you don't ask questions and you just go into this mode of shoving the ball under your arm and running from dummy half. It's not the way I want to coach, and it's not the way I want to get beaten if we're going to get beaten. But I think we had to play some rugby here tonight to win, and we came and did that, so please.
Does Danny Maguire write his own scripts?
Yeah. He's my type of player, isn't he? It's great to watch. I thought it was like turning back the clock. Not only did it look good, we were out off the field watching it, and it made me reminisce about some of what I've seen him do in years before. But the players, they're telling me, and some of my experienced players were going, God, Danny was riding us all. He was talking the whole way through that game. He said you could tell it meant a lot to him, and so he was not only doing, he was talking it up and getting the best out of other people, which is what good leaders do and good halfbacks do and good pros do. And I'm going to say to you, he trained once this week, and he went out and played like that. Takes some doing.
Beaten by a better team, Ian, I think. Beaten by a better team. Our start was very, very poor. Disrespecting the ball. But in particular, some traits where I think we've been pretty good over a number of weeks defensively. Turning up for each other, and when the ball's gone past us, working back hard on the inside. Staying connected well defensively, and that was just missing from our game. There were times on offloads where we look and we've just stopped, and that's when you get beat. So, our first 20 minutes I thought really hurt us, and obviously the second 10 minutes, the second half, first 10 minutes again, almost like a carbon copy. You know, that their halves have certainly handed it to us tonight.
Is there an element of panic for the first time in the last month as well? Certainly late on, taking the wrong option.
I thought that were evident throughout the 80 minutes. I thought we were frantic in good ball, and even a time where we started to get some possession on their line, we came up with early play errors. You know, our halves at times didn't look like they were in sync together, and we looked like, you know, even our first try, I thought, you know, we just looked like we were making it up on the run a little bit. So yeah, I would say it was more of frantic nature rather than us panicking. But again, you know, I'll point to the first 20 and our lack of turning up when we needed to turn up defensively, and you know, our lack of working together as a team defensively really hurt us. Really hurt us. You know, I thought we had some spasmodic periods in the game where we got it together and we kept coming back. Certainly didn't think at any moment, you know, we waved a white flag. Well, I thought it was more poor play.
What's the mood like?
Well, disappointed. You know, massive disappointment. But we knew this was going to be a dangerous game. You know, so I think someone just said to me now, you know, the teams around the bottom seem to be 2 or 3 good performances, and then, you know, the copper smack in the mouth, and that's pretty symptomatic for all the sort of bottom 4 or 5 teams. You know, we've got to just make sure that we can build more than those 2 or 3 performances and string them together a little bit more. But yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge our performance, understand the reasons why, look at our preparation, get ourselves ready for next week. I think moping about and sulking and hitting them over the head with a big mallet is not going to do us any good. I think we've just got to understand. You know, we could have some selection problems. We've got plenty of fit blokes. We've got blokes coming back from suspension, blokes coming back from injury. So we need to drive them, you know, them consistent standards into our game.
This was the game live on TalkSport 2 on Friday, and we were pleased to have their commentary team join us on Facebook afterwards. Mark Wilson, of course, and Paul Cook.
I thought we started the game really well, 14-0 up. Started the second half in the same fashion. Probably a little bit disappointed to want to be 14 points to 8 up at half time, but we've run away with it in the end. We tried at the end of the game, which is wonderful. Tried Ben Cook taking the kick off and scoring straight from the kick off. So disappointing for Leeds Rhinos, but it puts the cat amongst the pigeons for relegation.
You said have a look at how the team started, so what the outcome was going to be. Leeds dropped the ball in the first set. Was that a sign of things to come? Because Hull Khan, the opening 20 minutes, should have been out of sight.
But in big games, you can't start like that. You just cannot afford to drop the ball in big games, and they've dropped the ball on the first set, and that's brilliant. Completed the second, they've made an error on the third. Wilkins have punished them with some great attacking play. Got 14-0 up, and kind of worry them for Leeds. They've got back into the game, but legged up by Hull Khan discipline, in my opinion. Started the second half in the same fashion. The carries from the kick-off from Mossad Hassan, Mitch Garber, followed by Joel Tompkins twice. Second set's a repeat set, and then they score a try off it. Actually, Wilkins and Robs have fully deserved tonight.
They have indeed. Compare the 2 half-backs partnerships.
Yeah.
Drinkwater and Maguire on a pair of Super League 400 tonight, outstanding.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, Myler had a really poor game. Rob Lewis was pretty non-existent.
Yeah, we didn't mention them too much in commentary, did we? We didn't speak about Louis and Myler and any contributions that they was making to the Leeds Rhinos cause. Any vital contributions, any game-changing contributions, but Maguire was great. I thought Maguire was fantastic. It's a fairy tale in the last appearance at Emblem. He was going to have a say. I thought Drinkwater did really well too. He stayed calm. He got to the points where he needed to get to. He creates the try for Kane Burnett in the first half. He gets a 3v2 on with Quinlan. So just did some really nice stuff up here and fully deserved their win tonight. They moved level with Leeds. And as I said, London now sweating a little bit at the bottom of the table. They've got to find some wins, and it pulls into the fight. You know, Wakefield, Huddersfield, I think they're both in that fight now, just 2 points ahead.
Yeah, Huddersfield who were beaten tonight by the Dragons, Wakefield beaten at home by Castleford. But here, I think a lot of people came tonight thinking Leeds were going to make it 3 wins on the spin, and you never at any point felt they were going to win the game.
No, it didn't. From when you drop, as I said, when you drop the ball first set, you worry. At 14-0, you're desperate for the next points. They've got to within scoring distance, if you like, 6 behind at the break, and I think they'll be relatively happy with that. But started the second half in the same fashion as the first, and I got out to a 14-point lead again, and then went home with the game. So I think the Red and Whites deserve some credit tonight. I think they played really smart. They stuck to what they wanted to do the Tony Smith way. They found some offloads and tries and played some ad-lib football, if you like. And the Leeds Rhinos defence that we've seen over the last couple of weeks couldn't really handle that. And I think they fully deserve their win. And we can talk all you want about Leeds not making it free and being poor and the half-backs being poor, but Kingston Rovers have clearly done a job.
Yeah, Paul's asked the question, was the bench selection for Leeds wrong? No big men on the bench.
Well, it's interesting because Tony Smith's changed that. He's gone with both big men off the bench, and he's started with both front rows who he brought in on loan. So he's got some minutes out of, Daniel Murray and Louis Johnson.
I think Murray's been a good. When they signed him, I thought, but he's come in and he's doing a real
He gives you
job.
minutes, he gives you aerobic capacity, and he gives you a chance to bring on Masson Garber because he's sure in the middle of the field. So when he does go off, you've got some punch coming on the field, and that's a subtle change from Tony Smith. He wants to get his big men on after 20 minutes and really cause some chaos. Maybe Leeds did get it wrong. I don't know. Have they got any more big men to bring off the bench? Who's injured? Who can they bring on? Is it a selection to go big at the start of the game and try and blow OKR away? So I'm not sure whether they've got it wrong. I just think you should give some credit to OKR tonight. They've come with a plan and they've got it right.
They have got it right. You wouldn't have known a team next to the bottom of the table. They are still next to the bottom. They face Huddersfield next week. On that performance, they're going to take some stock in it.
Yes, they are. But then you look at, we look at being dragged into the relegation by Huddersfield. We spoke previously about Salford. Salford can't possibly lose this game against Huddersfield. And then you watch Huddersfield dismantle them and you say, well, Huddersfield are going to be nowhere near the bottom. They lose at home tonight to Catalan. OKR win. It's been a great weekend for them. They could be dragged into the mire. As I said, Wakefield the same with some injuries. So every single weekend there's matches being played and results being played out, and you think they could be in trouble next week. Every game's a big game. Next week's a big game for OKR.
Leeds next two, Hull KR away, Leeds at home. Huddersfield's next two games, if they don't win one of those, surely it's going to be between Huddersfield and London.
Well, the saving grace would be, you would think Saints would beat London, and then you've got Salford the following week against London. If London don't win that, then you fear for London. If Huddersfield don't win any of the two, you fear for them, particularly if London pick up a win. So, as I said, we're looking at it if buts and maybes. Every single week we're going, well, if this happens, this could happen, and if this happens, then they're in some trouble. I just think it's a wonderful Super League.
Super League as it stands, 22 rounds in. St Helens top 10 points clear on 40 points. Mornington on 30. Hull third on 26. Catalans on 24. They've won 2 in a row now. Wigan on 22. Castleford on 22, just outside on points difference. Salford on 20. Wakefield on 18. Huddersfield on 16. Leeds on 16. Hull KR on 16. And London on 14 points. Next weekend's fixtures. Thursday night on the telly. Wigan versus Wakefield. And then you've got Hull KR versus Huddersfield. I think that's the Friday night game on the telly. And then on the Sunday afternoon, Leeds versus Hull FC, London versus Sheffield, Salford Catalans and Castleford Warrington. I'm toying which game to go with on Sunday. I'm not sure which game to go to. But if I go to Castleford, I also get to see the rematch between the Castleford Tigers women and Wakefield Trinity ladies from the Challenge Cup game the other week, the controversial Challenge Cup game. Of course, by this time next week, when you listen to this podcast, we'll be ready for the Challenge Cup semi-finals and the Women's Challenge Cup final at Bolton. But don't forget to join us 6 o'clock on Monday night for 4020 Live. Favourite show of all Salford fans. They love it, especially the ones who don't follow us on Twitter. They really love the show. Make sure you join us on Twitter at 4020 Live. We're on Facebook, search for 4020. The new edition of the magazine is out. I've written a bit about Women's Rugby League, but more importantly, you should read Danica Prim's first column, the Leeds Rhinos and England prop forward, talking about Women's Rugby League. There's lots of stuff in there. It's always worth a read. It's got Wayne Bennett on the front cover. You can't miss it. Subscribe on YouTube, download the podcast. I think that's all I need to say. So thanks for listening.